Outbreak Gamers. Today I thought I'd put a little video together just to give tips and tricks to new Spiral Knights. I thought we'd start off with some weapons rundown. This is the gear that I'd recommend. I'm a swordsman, so I mostly use swords. My first sword is the Combustor, which is a fire elemental sword. It's very good against undead and constructs. You get both of the swords I'm showing here through the brandish line, so you just buy yourself a brandish and then you can get the recipes to turn it into a in this case flame burst brandish, which is the evolutionary path of the Combustor. It's an awesome little sword, and I mean, with this one and the next sword I'm about to show you, I think that's all you really require. You can pull off some really awesome charge attacks like this, which also pushes back enemies, which again is really useful because it means that things can't get close enough to attack you, essentially, plus you do tons of flame damage and all sorts. The second weapon is the Acheron, and it's a shadow sword. It can pull off the same charge attack as the Combustor, but obviously it does shadow damage, meaning that you do lots of damage to gremlins and slimes. And it does decent damage to beasts as well, so you can cover all the monster family types and all the weaknesses, so it's a really good idea to have two of them, and they're just really useful swords. I'd recommend getting the Obsidian Edge if the Apocria event comes around, because it's basically an Acheron with poison, and that stops gremlins from healing and everything. Now on to other weapons that you should probably look into getting. The Blitz Needle. It's an awesome little gun, and even though fiends and beasts tend to dodge it quite a lot, it's quite good against undead as well, like cats and things. So it does make up for it, and you'll definitely need one to fight the last boss, which is Lord Vanderduke. Having a Blitz Needle just makes it a lot easier. They're a gun from the auto gun line, so yeah, just grab yourself an auto gun and start putting one together as soon as possible for that. Next up we have bombs, and an absolute must own is the Shift and Miss Buster. It freezes everything around you and makes picking off targets easier. Again, it's another really good weapon for the last boss. Not necessarily necessary, but if one person has one in your party, you'll beat him a lot easier. Just a really useful bomb, definitely one you should think about building. Next up, battle tips and general mission stuff. And the main thing you want to be doing is playing missions on Elite. Just get the practice in and run everything on Elite, because you'll make a lot more crowns and rarities have more chance of dropping. Other tips I could probably give you would be to join a good guild and play with others, because it makes running Elite easier, and sometimes players know secrets to the map that you might not have picked up on yet, so it's always good to run in a group. It's a multiplayer game, just talk to others and you'll soon make friends, and yeah, it's a lot more fun when you're playing with others in the party. I'd say get yourself a good shield. The fawn shield you get for beating the Snarble-axe a few times. You can trade the tokens in to the vendor and get the Snarble-axe fawn shield, which is a really good shield to have. Blocks piercing damage, so jellies and beasts won't do as much damage to you. But I found it's good for normal defense as well. It's good sort of all-round sort of shield. I don't have to change it often. I'd say that, or maybe the defender line, a good normal shield that defends against everything equally, is also another good sort of shield to have. But yeah, just working a team and keep each other alive, basically. is the best advice. When you're not attacking, shield, and conserve your health. Remember to use your health capsules, because they're no good to you when you die and you need to use a spark. So always make sure you use them, and the chances are you'll likely pick up more along the way anyway. So, okay, trading advice now, and I'd say run arcade a lot, because there's Basil, the recipe seller in arcade, in the Clockwork terminals, and you can sometimes find rare recipes there that other players are going to want. The new gunner recipes are an example of that, and any sort of boss weapon upgrades or shield upgrades. You can buy 4-star recipes and make about 2k profit off of them, sell them for about 12 in the auction house. Always search for the recipe or whatever you've bought or want to sell in the auction house. Always search it up on the auction house and then just sell it for a little cheaper or the same price as the lowest item that's on there that's the same as the one you're trying to sell. You can just check the buy price or click the sort button and order it to buyout or bids, and you can sort of get a feel for how much to sell your item for. Like I said, if you want it to sell quicker, you can just undercut the lowest one on there by a tiny bit. You won't lose too much profit out of it, and you'll get a quick sale. Not having as many items on there of the one that you have is probably a good sign. It means people want them and they've been buying them. So sometimes you can get a little more for them if you're the only item of that type on the auction house. But yeah, just sort of get a feel for it, and you can sort of judge what to sell your items at to earn a little bit extra money. You just sell items and such. The other biggest tip I could say is always pick up the minerals in the when you're running missions or the arcade. This is because they're used to make pet food, and the most important ones are purple, yellow and red, as these are the current pet food colours, and you can make these pet foods at the alchemy machine in Haven and in the lab, and then put them on the auction house. Everyone's always levelling up their battle sprites, so they're always going to need food, and so it's sometimes an easier way to make a bit of extra money on the side, especially if you're not using them yourself or not using the different coloured ones for pets that you don't have. The only thing to look out for is what items are going in to make the pet food. Make sure the items that you're using don't come to a greater value than the pet food would on its own, because like you see I used 2 royal cores where I could have got more for the royal cores than I would the pet food. So just use your use the lower value items to make the pet food, and then hopefully you make more profit out of it. Another thing to remember is that when you're playing through the missions, make sure everyone picks up a mineral, one of the gems, because they're all shared at the end and you get the total sum of what everyone picked up. So if everyone picks up more minerals, then you'll have more to sell at the end of it. You can also sell any item. Obviously 5-star items go for more generally, so again, just search up the item that you want to sell, find what sort of price it's selling for, and then either sell it at the same price as the lowest or undercut the lowest, depending on how quick you want the sale. Most items are always being bought up for statues for guild halls and to make pet food with. So again, it is another really easy way to make an extra bit of money. Just make sure you don't need any of the materials for any recipes you're crafting, otherwise you're going to find you're going to have to go back and buy or find these items again if you've already sold them. But other than that, it's I highly recommend you sell stuff you don't use, because it'll mount up and you could be getting extra crowns out of it. So I think that pretty much wraps up this episode. Thank you all for watching, and I'll probably do more of these videos in the future. Until next time, keep it Outbreak Gaming!